Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much. Um, so let me grab control here real quick. Okay, so Rick, thank you very much. That was very informative. And for the next piece of this, I'm going to take you through a little bit about Stonesoft, and then we're going to open it up for some questions. I think we already have one question, and I'm going to go through a couple of quick slides here, and then we'll get to the Q&A part of this. So who is Stonesoft? Well, Stonesoft was founded in 1990, and we have a truly global presence. Our U.S. headquarters is in Atlanta, Georgia, and our global headquarters is in Helsinki, Finland. Now, we have next-generation security solutions, including IPS, firewall VPN, SSL VPN, at the heart of which is a truly centralized management platform. And a common theme that you'll find across the entire StoneGate platform is that everything is highly available. So what we do is we have a focus on the simplification of managing network security. Well, managing network security should not be hard. If you're wasting time on the management portion, it's taking away from the security portion. So we have our StoneGate management platform that enables you to simply manage everything. Now, since the context of this entire presentation today has really been about IPS, I think it's appropriate that we will talk about the StoneGate IPS in particular. On the right-hand side, you can, while I'm speaking, you can look at the diagram and get an idea briefly at what our architecture looks like. But we believe that an IPS, its job, in addition to securing you and preventing attacks from getting into your network, is visibility and manageability, having a greater degree of both of those. Managing your IPS should be simple. It should not require an advanced degree in rocket science to manage your IPS. And when you're creating, and what I mean by that is really the creation of security policies, tuning your IPS. I mean, as Rick stated earlier, deploying an IPS in an untuned state can carry with it certain risks. So you want an interface, a way to manage it and tune it that's very simple. And also you want an IPS that can provide incredible visibility into your network. Now, visibility, as I'm going to talk about in just a moment, it doesn't come only from your IPS and firewall and things like that. There's more to it than that. From a protection standpoint, we are definitely vulnerability-centric. So we use regular expressions, and we concentrate more on the vulnerability itself, and it helps us reduce the number of signatures required to achieve the protection required. Now, through rigorous protocol validation, we can also help you achieve zero-day protection. Many exploits seek to or have to violate the standards of a protocol in order to be successful, so we do protocol validation to help stop those types of threats. So a huge theme today, of course, too, has been throughput and efficiency. So that's a twofold thing. There's the hardware side of things, and then there's the actual design. What has the vendor done to design a truly efficient solution? So efficiency means policy design. That's the key thing, policy design. And then two, the philosophy that your vendor uses to actually apply the situations, fingerprints, signatures, whatever you want to call them. In the case of Stonesoft, we use context-sensitive regular expressions. So if you can narrow the focus of what the intrusion prevention device is looking at, for example, if you are looking at an entire data stream, which may, I don't know, there could be dozens of different protocols moving through your network, or basically you just want to narrow the focus. For example, I want to look at attacks that are specific to the HTTP client stream. That provides a laser focus for the IPS to start applying or looking for certain situations in that particular context. So there's the hardware end of it, and then there's the philosophical and design standpoint. So those two things together achieve your throughput and your efficiency and also your accuracy. Now, total cost of ownership. Total cost of ownership. As I mentioned a minute ago, management should be easy. Designing your security policy should be easy. Let's face it, I think one of probably the greatest fears that I've heard throughout my career with IPS is false positives. If I put this device in my network and I put it in full prevention mode, what's going to happen? Well, the process of tuning your IPS involves making it more accurate. So getting rid of false positives. You put that thing in your network, you should have a vendor. I mean, for example, Stonesoft, we have something called a passive terminate option. It allows you to put it in line. It allows you to see what it would do if it were in full blocking mode. But then when you detect false positives, you should have a way to quickly eliminate those. In our case, you can eliminate false positives directly from the log files. You can create rules that permit connections or discard connections directly from the logging entries. Now, if you're an organization that's growing, if you're starting out small and you've got big plans for the future, you want to be able to scale. You need something that's highly scalable and available. For example, put in an IPS. Most IPS devices these days have the ability to fail open. But when you do fail open due to hardware or software failure, you're unprotected. So serial clustering is what Stonesoft offers in this arena. You can install several IPS devices together in a chain, and should one fail, there's another one to pick up in its place. And then finally, on this slide, SSL inspection for both client and server-side protection. So for those of you who are concerned about data loss prevention, regular expressions have been around for a while, a long time as a matter of fact. And if you can write a regular expression to look for something in particular, credit card numbers, for example, you can decrypt the SSL stream, apply whatever situations you would like, re-encrypt it, and send it on. So now, the management interface, I think the management interface, I could talk for a long time about this, but of course I want to be sensitive to everybody's time. But the management, I told you we believe in the simplification of network security management. Part of that is having everything under one roof. All of the logs from your firewall, all of the logs from your IPS, SSL VPN, and additionally having the ability to bring in information from third-party devices. In the case of Stonesoft, we can bring in logging information via syslog from all of these third-party devices, which gives you the ability to see the chain that a possible security incident may have taken. All of our filtering is drag and drop, so you don't have to spend a lot of time creating these filters by doing a lot of typing. When you suspect something is going on, you want that data immediately. You also want to be able to visualize it, as you can see on this slide. And although this is a pie graph, we give you in many, many, many different ways to visualize the data, because watching logs scroll off a screen doesn't do anyone any good. The best way to respond to a security incident is to be able to see that data, and when you can see it and view it and touch it, you can do something about it. And that's where our powerful data retrieval engine comes in. So if an incident does occur, we do have a case manager. It allows you to organize all of the logs from all the different devices on your network, include a list of players, who was involved, what hosts, what people, and then you can journal the activities as the case is being resolved. Now, real-time monitoring and alerting. Well, if a security event does happen, you have this well-tuned security policy, and then you have a policy on who gets alerted, when they get alerted, and how it happens. You can email people, you can send people text messages, and you can do this according to a chain. If you email this person and they don't respond, you send a text message to this person, and the end the goal is to make sure that if there is a security incident, so if you're not sitting there, if you've got a million other things in your busy lives to do, then you have this automated security policy to alert you when something does go wrong. These dashboards, particularly, for example, the one that you see here, I just made this up. You can create each one of these statistical sections can contain any data that you want to see, and they can be arranged how you want to see them, and they can be displayed the moment you log in. As I said, 90% of being able to do something with the information that you receive is see it real time and see it in a way that's useful. And that is exactly the aim of the StoneGate management system. Here you can see, for example, geographic pinpointing of IP addresses. If you're not doing any business in Upper Mongolia and there's a really, really, really big spot on Upper Mongolia, well, could be you have a security incident in progress, regardless of whether or not there's a signature protecting it, because we are cataloging and reporting on the amount of data processed by an interface. You might be able to get an idea an attack is occurring even if there's not a situation looking for it. And of course, I did mention already the alerting and escalation system. It's incredibly flexible. You can even create certain policies for different days of the week, the weekends. It's completely customizable, and it's up to you how it's operated.